Welcome back to our channel, your premier destination for the most profound and gripping updates from the heart of Genoa City and beyond. Today is a truly spectacular day to dive deep into the intricate webs of power, betrayal, and survival that define our favorite families. We have an incredibly intense array of developments to unpack, so let us jump straight into the unfolding drama. The sprawling, luxurious landscape of Genoa City and the desolate, suffocating expanse of the Nevada desert are currently serving as the dual epicenters of two incredibly distinct, yet equally devastating tragedies. In the towering glass fortresses of the corporate elite, lives are being systematically dismantled through calculated legal warfare, while in the forgotten ruins of the wasteland, a terrifying battle for physical survival is reaching a catastrophic crescendo. These parallel narratives of destruction highlight the relentless, unforgiving nature of a world where absolute power and historical trauma constantly collide, leaving a trail of shattered lives and desperate, frantic attempts at salvation in their wake. Lauren Finn Moore Baldwin finds herself entirely consumed by a suffocating, paralyzing wave of anxiety regarding the impending doom facing her dearest friend. She frantically seeks out Daniel Romalotti Jr., desperately hoping to leverage his profound influence as a son to break through the impenetrable wall of stubborn pride his mother has erected around herself. Lauren understands all too well that the impending wrath of the Newman patriarch is not an idle, empty threat, but rather a meticulously calculated, inescapable execution of corporate and personal vengeance. She passionately attempts to impress upon Daniel the sheer, terrifying gravity of the situation, outlining the horrifying reality that his mother is standing precariously on the absolute edge of a federal prison sentence if she stubbornly refuses to surrender the corporate empire back to its original owner. Lauren's heart aches with a profound, enduring sense of loyalty, driving her to exhaust every conceivable emotional and strategic avenue to save her friend from a catastrophic downfall that seems almost tragically inevitable. Daniel Romalotti Jr., however, receives this dire, frantic warning through the heavy, deeply scarred lens of his own extensive childhood trauma. Having spent his entire adult life navigating the chaotic, often highly illegal fallout of his mother's relentless, blinding ambition, Daniel has developed a thick, impenetrable psychological armor to protect his own sanity. When confronted with Lauren's desperate pleas, he processes the terrifying information with a chillingly pragmatic, almost detached perspective. He harbors a deeply rooted, agonizing belief that perhaps a grueling stint in a federal penitentiary is the only crucible hot enough to finally burn away his mother's destructive, deeply ingrained hubris. Daniel wrestles intensely with the agonizing concept of tough love, hypothesizing that if his mother insists on playing a high-stakes, suicidal game of corporate chicken with a man globally renowned for utterly destroying his enemies, she might simply need to face the devastating, life-altering consequences of her actions to finally learn her lesson. Daniel's perspective is not born out of malice or a lack of filial affection, but rather out of a deep, profoundly exhausting well of generational trauma. He has spent decades watching his mother orchestrate incredibly dangerous, highly illegal schemes, always miraculously managing to slip out of the severe consequences at the absolute last possible second. This endless, terrifying cycle of reckless endangerment and miraculous legal salvation has left Daniel emotionally depleted and highly skeptical of any genuine, lasting behavioral change. He silently contemplates the incredibly heavy burden placed upon his own family, worrying endlessly about the toxic, unstable example this sets for his own daughter. In Daniel's exhausted, overwhelmed mind, the concept of a federal prison sentence is not a punishment to be feared, but rather a necessary, immovable, and harsh boundary that his mother desperately needs to physically encounter to finally shatter her deeply ingrained, dangerous illusion of absolute invincibility. Despite Daniel's highly cynical and arguably justifiable stance, Lauren absolutely refuses to accept this grim, devastating fatalism. She pushes back against his pragmatic armor with every ounce of her emotional strength, arguing passionately that the federal justice system will completely and irreversibly shatter whatever remains of the woman they both deeply love. Lauren meticulously dismantles Daniel's rationale, reminding him of the profound, lasting psychological toll that incarceration takes on a human soul, especially someone as fiercely independent, restless, and chaotic as his mother. She begs Daniel to look past his historical grievances and recognize the immediate, life-altering peril of the present moment, desperately hoping to recruit him into a final, 11th-hour intervention to force a surrender before the patriarch's end-of-day deadline permanently seals their tragic fate. Lauren operates from a place of profound, fiercely loyal friendship that has been forged in the intensely hot fires of decades of shared history. She vividly remembers the dark days when she and the embattled executive were bitter, unforgiving rivals, a history that ironically makes their current, unbreakable bond all the more precious and vital to her. Lauren has seen the deeply vulnerable, incredibly insecure woman hiding beneath the abrasive, highly arrogant exterior, and she knows with absolute, terrifying certainty that the harsh, unforgiving, and violent environment of a federal pennant